I bought a 2005 Mercedes-Benz S600 V12 bi-turbo for 1.6% of the original purchase price. The car retails for $125,000 way back in 2005. I bought this for $1,999.99. How did that go down? I had a YouTuber reach out to me and say, "Hey Lou, I've got the perfect car for you that I have no interest in anymore," which means it's got problems and I want to get rid of it. So if he's watching, I really appreciate you reaching out, and I love the car. I did quickly go through it, but I wanted to save going through it for the actual video. So let me show you how I got it for $1,999.99. When I was talking with the guy on YouTube, I said, "Hey man, I'd love to buy the car, but I can't give you $2,000 for it because then I can't make a video saying that I bought it for under $2,000. So I did cheat a little bit, but here's what he did for me. He left me 1 penny in the ashtray, which the ashtray is actually missing. So there's added cost right there. But this car has 145,000 miles on it. It starts, it runs, it goes into gear smooth, it shifts smooth for the time being. At $2,000 for this car, I can't go wrong because I'm a technician. I would say this is a great buy for someone that knows how to work on cars, knows how to find parts, has the tools to do it, and the means to get it done. Okay? This is very dangerous territory for somebody that doesn't know how to work on cars, because now you're at the mercy of a mechanic and the mechanic's experience and what the mechanic thinks is the right parts to choose. So when you have a car that says mechanic special, that doesn't mean that it's for everybody. It means that you've got to be willing to take the lumps on the head. Me personally, I never, ever, ever wanted to buy a Mercedes. Why? Because I don't find personal value in cars. That's my opinion. After working on these things for so long, to me, are they great cars? They are absolutely great cars. But I don't see the value in what the charges are, not only for, like, even at my cost to replace stuff if I get the parts. It's still crazy expensive. So we call it in the dealership world pay to play. If you want a Mercedes, if you want a BMW, if you want an Audi, if you want a Porsche, that comes along with a price tag, whether you want it or not. It is not for you to decide what is a ripoff, what is overly priced. It is not for me to decide. They value their stuff at that cost. I don't value their stuff at that cost. So there's a disagreement there. So I'm going to err in the caution on my side. So I've been working for and with Mercedes for 20 years. And I've owned, this is going to be my second one now. The first one was my free class, my free C class that I still have, that I got to do work to. I haven't decided what I want to do to that car yet. And this is my very second one. The only reason I bought this car is because I need an S-Class. Who needs an S-Class, right? I need an S-Class to make videos for you guys. If you're interested in buying these cars, if you're working on these cars, you want to know about these cars, I bought this at a loss already because I don't need it. You should have seen the look on my wife's face. I bought the car to make videos for you guys, so I'm in the hole. I do make a small dollar amount on YouTube. It's going to take me 3 years of YouTube funds to pay for this purchase, all right? So it's not about the money for me at all. I'm trying to put out content that is helpful to you guys. So with this car being under $2,000, I couldn't say no. There's just, it's too nice of a car. It was, I ran the VIN in the Mercedes system, and the car originally came from Puerto Rico. It came from hot climate. It came from down south. The seller said he bought it from Kentucky. Now, the seller is a good dude. If you're watching this, hey man, I really appreciate it. It was a great transaction. The guy was super nice. But I didn't really care. Like, if you tell me the history of the car, it doesn't matter. What happened to it in the past doesn't matter. What's wrong with it right now, okay? There's so many caveats to buying a car. If it's one owner, That don't mean nothing to me. That one owner could have not taken care of anything. If it was a mechanic-owned car, those cars scare me because mechanics know what it takes to just keep it running, right? Or how to make a noise go away. So I don't like mechanic cars because I'm a mechanic and it's hard for me to find time to fix my own stuff. So if someone tells me it's a mechanic's car, I don't want that car. You can have a car that goes through one owner and he never takes care of it and has boneheads fixing it. So that one owner just destroyed that car. And you think that it's because of one owner car, then it's a better purchase. You can have 10 owners and they all took care of it. And it doesn't matter how many people's hands were in it, right? So there's nothing that you can tell me about a car that makes me feel warm and fuzzy until I get my hands on the car, start the car, drive the car, look at the car. This car didn't scare me at all because we all know how pricey parts are. I can take a Sawzall to this thing and cut it up and sell individual parts and make that money back. It's not about the money to me, right? It's about getting the experience and the content to help those make an informed decision on what they're doing or maybe help them with their repair, okay? This thing is heavily optioned. The one thing that did scare me is that because all of the V12s and the AMGs come with ABC, which is active body control, which is hydraulic suspension. And because they have age on them, they all fail. But what this guy already had done is he already had coilovers mounted. So there's no more ABC. So the worst thing that I have to deal with is the actual pump. And if the pump has failure, I've got to swap it out for an actual power steering pump instead of just the tandem pump, which means it's a dual pump. It works power steering and the hydraulic system. In fact, here's all the shocks right there. He gave me all the parts. All right. So let's take a quick look at the car. I wanted this to be a fast video just to get some excitement going because I'm excited for this car because I've never owned one and it's at a price that I can't, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it, but I'm saying it. I can't lose at it, right? So I guess we'll find out, okay? Are these deals out there? I believe they are. I believe they are because this gentleman just wanted a reliable day-to-day driver. When you have a V12 bi-turbo Mercedes-Benz that's 500 horsepower, 600 pounds of torque, can it be a daily driver? It can, but when it breaks, it takes time to get parts. He was in a small town in Iowa. It takes time to get parts. It takes time to take things apart, especially if you're not a Mercedes mechanic. It takes time to figure out what's going on. And in that time that the car is down, you got to figure out another ride, right? So you want a more dependable car, and these things really can kick you in the wallet. They really can. These cars are not for everybody. I'm struggling to make a video on who should buy a Mercedes because you're going to get mad at me. You're not going to like what I have to say, but it's one of those where it's for your own good. All right. Just know that even though they're some of the best cars in the world, they're just cars. They don't mean anything. They're just cars. Nobody cares what you drive but you. Okay. Do you deserve one? No, no one deserves anything. Be a grown-up. Just make informed, educated decisions. You don't deserve something, right? If you want something, then that's what you want it. You want it. There's no excuse for you not to have anything. Just don't live out of your means just to have something that doesn't mean anything, right? It's a consumable, okay? I've owned many things in my life, and I guess I'm going down the road right now. I've owned many things in my life that I thought brought me happiness and joy. You know what makes me ultimately happy is making you happy. Whatever I can do to help you, to help whoever's watching, to help whoever I'm talking to, that gives me so much more satisfaction. I'm feeling it right now. I'm getting overwhelmed. That having material possessions, it only takes you so far. You know, I more love the experience that I have with others and people. You guys, you know, if you're new to my channel, I do comedy. Those of you that, you know, watch my channel, I do comedy, you know that. I love making people laugh. I love changing others' day. That ultimately makes me happy, you know. In fact, paying the guy, I gave him what he asked for. There was no way that he was going to offer me a beast of a car like this for $2,000 and I was going to try to whittle him down. There is no way I can do that. I got to sleep at night. It's totally worth $2,000. It was worth the $700 in gas to get out there with a trailer. Oh man, gas is $4.50 for petrol and $5 something for diesel. That hurt. So even though I consider gas not part of the car purchase price, you got to consider that too, right? So enough of me rambling. Let me show you the car real quick. 2005 S600 V12 bi-turbo. I got the hood pop. Let's open this baby up. It is already missing the engine covers. Those engine covers, brand new at the dealer, is $500 for the chest plating, it's called. Or I call it, always like a superhero chest plating. It goes from side to side and it covers right down the center. $500. This plastic piece in here, $300. So I'm going to try to find used. I already know the windshield washer is leaking because this is empty. What I do is I pry these guys open and I can see that the nozzle is missing here. So as soon as I fill up fluid, it's going to pour right out of the headlight washers. All right. The front end looks good. The top of the engine looks good. It does start and run. It takes a little bit of time to get going if it's warm. I think it might have a fuel pump issue or possibly even an ignition control module issue, but there's no misfires. It just takes a little bit to catch. So I'll figure that out in time. He's got newer tires on here. Tires alone can run you, $1,000. I already removed both fuse covers and there's no water or corrosion that I can see in there. All right, I don't see anything in there. Walking down the car, let me try to get you a good view here. It is pretty nice. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it bad? No, it's more into the good to very acceptable range. You've got a spider in here. It has the rear window shades you can pull up. They're in pretty decent condition. All right, all of the adjustable seats work. Look at that. Got the reclining seats. We got the heated seats, windows, ashtray. Oh, got something in there. Ooh, Blistex. I love me some chapstick. You guys know that. Cigarette lighter. All right. Seats. Interior looks pretty good. There's my tool bag in there already. Very nice. It's got the rear mirrors. Nice lighting. Okay, the headliner is very good condition. This thing is really clean for what it is. It's got the rear AC. Again, the controls. Roof, back glass, Parktronic. All right, let's walk around the back of the car. Back glass, good condition. Got the badging, the bumper, the trunk. Now this does not work. It does not lock or unlock. All right, there's a problem with the PSE. If anyone owns a Mercedes, they've already dealt with the lock pump. Here's the other side. We got a little bit of boo-boo right here. Okay, that looks good. Stickers all in there. Back of the car, open up this door here. No rust. There is no rust. No rust. These lips like to rust. There was a recall back in the day where you pulled this off and you resealed it and pushed them back on. The whole door would rust. Where these pop into the door, it actually wears on the metal and rust comes out of here. Look at any old Benz from the late 90s, early 2000s. Now, Benz is absolutely awesome at not rusting in general, but you get in the Midwest where they got salt and you get rust. So, but it takes time. Here's the passenger side. We've got heated seats, cooled seats. Everything works. I was already messing with the fuses, checking some stuff. Glove box, coilover kit. You guys know what a glove box looks like. Very nice car for $2,000, $1,999.99. So I'll go ahead and quickly get it up in the air. We'll just do a once over real quick. I don't want to make this video that long. I just wanted to get it out there, to spark up some interest. If you guys want to see what it's like to buy a car at, okay, so one of the worst phrases, I'm getting the light here. The worst phrase that I hear is, I got this Mercedes at a great deal. I don't want to hear you say that ever, okay? Now, I said it because to me, this is a great deal because I can deal with this stuff on my own, right? If you're not a mechanic and you don't do stuff on your own, or if you want to get into working on cars and you want to buy a Mercedes to work on to fix up, careful what you wish for because you're going to get it, right? I'm not saying you can't. Everybody can. I learned how to do it. You can learn how to do it. The difference is I've been doing Mercedes day after day, car after car, for about, I think it was 15 years straight before I took a hiatus and went back. So I would rack up 40 cars in a week. That's a lot of experience. If you're working on one car, one issue at a time, it takes you a lot longer to get the experience down. And if you think of anything you did in your life, it takes time. There's that rule of it takes you 10,000 hours to master anything. Same thing goes with cars, right? So be careful, because don't cut corners. Take your time. Buy the right parts. The problem with do-it-yourselfers, and I don't mean this the wrong way, is that when you do it yourself, it's coming out of your pocket. So you're going to choose the most economical part, the most economical way to get it done, which in time, if you don't go and just do what you should do and get the original parts or OEM stuff, is that now you have a failed part, a failed system. Then you go to the next thing, and now that one has aftermarket parts that can fail again. Now, after a couple of years, you have every system you worked on. You try to fix it, but you put poor quality parts in it to try to save a buck. Now everything's failing again. Now the car's getting on your nerves because now it keeps breaking. Every time I hear someone say that I got to keep bringing it back to the mechanic because it keeps having problems, your mechanic's a problem. Because your mechanic's job is to go over the car, look over the car for you, and tell you what's going on and tell you what's going wrong. Your car shouldn't be in the shop every week, all right? And if it is, there's cars out there that do that, but they're very rare. There's few of them where you buy it, and from the day you buy it, it's a problem child, because every bad part that could have ever been made is on that car. Every bad engineering design is on that car. It happens usually with the first model year run. So what I want to say is, man, if Mercedes sounds like a too good to be true deal, it is. It really is. It very much so is. Okay, these cars depreciate very fast, not off the bat. When you buy one off the lot, if it's a highly sought after model, it's going to hold its value for a bit, right? But as years go on, they're going to make another one that people want. And what drives value is what people are willing to pay for it, okay? So can you imagine buying this car for $125,000 and then 15 years later, somebody just sold your car for $2,000? That's insane. That's insane, which tells you cars are consumables. They're not investments. They're material items, right? So take that with a grain of salt. It was, again, really hard for me to pull the trigger on this because I don't need it. I don't want it, right? But at the dollar amount that he was offering, and for what I intend to do, which is help you guys, I think in the long run it's going to pay off because it's going to help me help those out there in the world working on these cars, right? So, or maybe that's my excuse. I don't know yet. We'll find out, okay? So let me go ahead and get the car up in here. Yeah, so let me get my flashlight here. Oil. Lots of oil. Lots and lots and lots of oil. All the way cooked down the exhaust. Okay? Look at it. Dripping everywhere. Okay? So we got an oil leak. It's okay. I'm okay with that. Engine, again, was solid when it started and ran. Pretty good, pretty quiet. Put it into gear. Shifted nice. The one thing you can't do when you go to buy a car is you can't have 2 or 3 days to drive it. Most people don't do that. If you can, do that, because a failure will show itself at different times, right? If you start the car up cold, it can run perfect till it warms up. If you start the car cold, it can run crappy until it warms up. So if you get to a car that you want to buy and the car is already warm, that could be a sign that they had it running before you got there to make sure everything's fine, or the car's cold and they only want you to run it for so long. When I was talking to this guy, I had the car running for most of the time just to make sure it wasn't going to overheat, to make sure it wasn't going to knock when it warmed up, make sure the heat worked. I'm pretty sure the AC worked. It was cold and freezing outside. We went through 4 different temperature changes when going from Illinois to Iowa. So I really didn't care too much. But and again, I wasn't going out there with the intention to not buy the car. I was going out there with the intention to buy the car. So I just wanted to check it out while I was out there. I wasn't going to pressure the guy. You know, I asked him just a little bit of information, what he knew, just to see if there's anything. I said, hey, let me know. If I get this car home and I go to start it, what's the first thing I'm going to have to worry about? Just be real with me. And he says, the long starting. Sometimes it takes longer to start. It runs a little bit weird for a couple seconds, and then it clears out and it runs fine after that. Okay, I can deal with that, right? Not a big deal. So I can't imagine that somebody would find me on a public forum like YouTube, offer to sell me a car, and then screw me in the deal, right? And I don't believe most people actively want to do that. maybe they selfishly just want to get rid of the car and hope that it's just your problem, right? I'm fine either way with that. It's on me, right? When you buy a car as is, you need to do your homework before you buy the car and ask as many questions while you're there and drive the car and see if you can check it a couple days over, you know, if they're willing, Or what I do for people is I do a pre-purchase inspection. If you're in Peoria, excuse me, and allergies, and if you're in Peoria and you're looking to buy a car and you want someone to check it out for you, hit me up. I will come and check out the car for you. I'll take it for a drive. I'll run my scanner on it. I'll give you my assessment of it. That's how I met the people that hooked me up with the shop space here at detailpeoria.com. You know, they're awesome people. They wanted to buy a Mercedes SLS and they wanted someone to look it over before they purchased it. I went out there, checked out the car for them, and they have it now. That's the SLS that you see in my Capristo exhaust video if you've been through my video library, whatever. But let me go underneath the car again. All right, so we got the oil leaks. All right, I'll have to figure that out. I think I'll go section by section in video. Here's the coilovers. Okay, so they have the ABC delete. The ABC connections are still there. He cut the lines to the shocks and just left the stuff connected so it didn't ruin the line. So the car still has the hydraulic stuff attached to it if we ever wanted to reinstall it, which is nice. Here's the other coilover. Okay. He added the air. They had to put an Airmatic, which is the air suspension control arms, with a sway bar, because when you have active body control, the hydraulic suspension acts as a sway bar, so you don't need that. So it has all that done. That's a huge value right there. It's already a huge value. The underneath of the car looks pretty good, minus the oil leaks. I'm not concerned about that. I can fix oil leaks. All right, getting it off the exhaust is gonna be a pain. I might wire wheel it off the exhaust or cookie it off the exhaust. Underneath of the car looks pretty nice. There is no rust on this car. No rust. Very nice in the rear. CV axles are good. A little bit of wetness. I don't even call it wetness. They call it sweating, seeping. Okay, not too bad. The differential is good. This side, we're on the passenger side now. Nice and clean. Okay, again, it's got the coilovers way back here. You can see the adjustables way up there. Here's the exhaust. Get to the back of the car. It's a very, very nice car. Very good car. Tires, look at that meat. That meat on the tire. I don't know if you can tell with the video, but this tire's only about 2 years old. 20. They were put on the 20th, or I'm sorry, they were manufactured the 20th week of 2021. So they're 1 year old. The rims look pretty good. The wheels, look at the calipers are still painted. Not too much grime on those. The brakes are good. Original, well, I'm not gonna say original, but they're Mercedes brakes. I can tell by the etching of the reading of the thickness on there. The body looks good. I can see a little bit of orange peel on this side. Like this may have been sprayed. I'm not sure if this is overspray. Right here, it looks like it could be overspray, could be touched up, right? But we're gonna have my guys do a couple of washes and get the paint nice and clean and see what we can do. There's that starting issue. Low washer fluid. That's because the ABC is deleted. He pulled the fuse to the module. The exhaust is kind of quiet on this car. So there we go, 2005 Mercedes-Benz S600 V12 bi-turbo for $1,199.99 to start. I'll try to track I will track the progress of this to see what I put into it, what I find wrong, how much it costs me. I'm gonna try to fix it how somebody in the field would fix it. And by in the field, I mean a civilian or a non-mechanic or a do-it-yourself, or someone trying to, maybe you got a used car lot and you bought the car and you want to sell it and you want to make a good car before you sell it, you know? So typically, because I work in the dealership, or had worked in the dealership, we don't repair stuff. We can't risk having what we call a comeback, which means when the car leaves, it comes back with the same issue, right? People would say, can't you glue it? Can't you re-secure it? Can't you do whatever? Yeah, I can. But how many times do you want to return to the shop to do this? Because if it failed once, it's going to fail again, right? If you had a 1970 Chevy Camaro, you can do that stuff all day long. Repair stuff, repair starters, repair alternators, rebuild things, swap in and out heater cores in a day or an hour. When you got a 2000s or above Mercedes, man, these parts are made in Germany. They're made to certain specifications. And when you have aftermarket parts, or you have a part that's made to where the supplier and manufacturer is not easily accessible, you would like to think I can just press in and out a water pump bearing like they would back in the 60s and rebuild them. You don't do that stuff anymore. Everything's aluminum, right? So they're made to be put on cars. They're not made to be rebuilt or repaired. So things that scare me as a mechanic are the word refurbished, remanufactured, and aftermarket. Because in my experience, working on the cars, I've tried aftermarket to save $1 here and there, and I've seen them fail. I work online diagnosing cars. I've helped people with aftermarket parts to find out that it's the part that's the problem. For some reason, electronics do not work in our cars. For some reason, there's a lot of scammers out there saying they'll repair or rebuild your engine module and they don't do nothing with it, or they just swap the sticker on it and send you back another one that's garbage. Or I don't know, are there companies out there that are reliable? I'm sure there are, but they're probably very far and few in between, all right? So what I'm going to do with this car is I might gamble to try to find aftermarket stuff and try it to show you guys how it does and does not work. What I was going to say before was, when I try to help somebody online, and let's say the pump for the locks work, and I'll show you another video what I mean by pump. The locks work off of vacuum and air pressure, and the pump is in the trunk, right? When the pump fails, there's 3 ways it fails. One, water builds up in there because it is an air pump, so it sucks in moisture, and after time, moisture corrodes the circuit board, okay? You can't fix that. Once corrosion hits chips and everything, there's no coming back from that. Maybe you're an electrical engineer and you know that there's a way to do it. I don't, and I have not seen it work. So I will never suggest anybody to clean and try it again. If it failed once, it's gonna fail again, right? So to me, my answer is put a new one in it from Mercedes, just because that's what I know, right? Is that the right way? That's not the wrong way, but it's not the only way. So I don't want to say it's the right way, but that to me, if you want the car to last and you want the issue to be resolved, put a new one in it, a new one from the dealer who sells the most highest quality parts of that model or make. Now, people will say, well, I saw a forum where you can yada yada film it. Like, that's fine. That's fine if that's what you saw. But what I'm going to recommend is what I know, okay? I'm sure there's other people out there that recommend different things. But what I'm going to try is I'm going to try to go against what I know and against the grain, because every time I do, it doesn't work out. And it reminds me, this is why I do it this way. Because over time, you ask yourself, why do I do it this way all the time? Let me try this. And then you realize, oh, that's why. So with the PSE pump not working, I'm going to find out why it's not working. And then I'll see what I can do to save the most amount of money on it, whether it be used, whether it be rebuilding, whether it be repairing. I'm going to take a gamble on this for you guys, right? Just to show you, and maybe it'll help you with your car. So my name is Lou. My channel is Master Tech Lou. I usually show you repair videos. I bought my first Mercedes for YouTube. I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe now, and I'll thank you right now for subscribing now. Hit the notification. Please watch all the videos. There's something that's going to help you in all of my videos, okay? I always add extra stuff because I ramble a lot. If you watch my videos, you know I ramble a lot. So, hey, take it easy. Wish me luck. I will talk to you soon. And thanks again for reaching out to me to buy this car. I hope I can still thank you after going through some hard times. No, seriously, thanks again. Have a good one.